AllShorts. Now, you might have heard that. Poor old Nigel. Well, he was victimised, ostracised by the banks. Apparently, or that's what he tried to make out via this PEPs. Oh, the banks. But there's a big but here. Nigel Farage. He lied. He lied again. That he did. Anyway, I hope everybody is well. So I just want to share this with you because it's quite funny, really, and it's quite windy today. It's a bit breezy here outside, and it's going to have a little bit of how to put it, a relaxation with the old the hammock. They've got wires coming out of every flipping well. Oh crikey! Yeah, so high street banks. This is when I fall out, isn't it? High street banks partnerships with Stonewall exposed after accounts of customers shut down. And when they talk about customers, they're talking about old Nigel Farage. Oh my God! Didn't he make a bit of a hoo-ha about it? That he did. Hello, Pagan. I hope you're well, mate. And it's quite funny, really. So I thought I'd just share it with you. How can I get comfortable in this hammock? Too high that end or too low that end? I don't know. Face the other way, you see all my pile of pallets behind over there. It looks well a mess. So, High Street Bank's partnership with Stonewall exposed after accounts of customers shut down. Well, this happens to be in the GB News. Well, this was yesterday in the GB News. It's quite funny, really, because as you might know, GB News presenter Nigel Farage, he had his bank account closed down. There's like this great big conspiracy theory. Everyone's been talking about it. Poor old Nigel. He had his account closed down. Why have I got a dodgy chair behind me? Oh dear, I might get rid of that in a second. So, it's claiming it was a serious political persecution against old Nigel Farage. Oh, I've got a little Wally down there as well. He's come and join me here. There he is. Oh, there's little Wally. You come and join me, Wally, have you? Huh? Why are you going to sit in the chair, Wally? That might be a good idea. So, so there's him ranting off about the banks and what have you, and all he's really done is just made himself look stupid, and also GB News even more stupid, or more CBBS, yeah. So High Street Banks. This was yesterday. Remember, I'll share you the latest news in a minute. So High Street Banks have sparked concern over links to diversity schemes run by controversial charities, what have you. I think I'm on the wrong flipping article. Had his account closed down. Oh, no, that's correct. I'm on the right one. I am on the right one. And but today, well, it appears that saying it was via this PEPs, political persecution. He was saying, and apparently saying, I wonder if anyone else on the right who is prominent with half this happens to them. Oh, if this happens to them. Sneaky Sunak, for example. Well, good point. But also, we had Lawrence Fox, Lawrence Fox. He's been going on about it, and various others. And you had that Lucy Fraser, is it? She's been saying, saying the banks mustn't be allowed to do this. Political persecution and all that. Yeah, they're going. When it comes down to it, it's not even the case. It's just Nigel Farage, his usual, exaggerating the truth, because there was some truth in what he said, because he did get closed down, but not for the reasons that he's trying to make out. No. I did find this quite comical. He just made himself look like an idiot. He's been caught out, hasn't he? He's been caught with his pants down, basically. Which I think is rather hilarious that I do. So I think I'm comfortable now. I should have cleared the mess up behind me, mind. There's an old barrel there that I dragged up I found up in the garden behind the trees. Actually, it was down the well. not the well that we use, no, the very old, half filled in well. So, this was also in the the BBC yesterday as well. Nigel Farage claims bank account closure prompts a UK review. You see, that's what they were saying. They got a review into the banks. Good afternoon, Scotch Pie. And when it comes down to it, he was kind of exaggerating the truth. He was being a bit economical with it, you could say. Exaggerating the truth? A bit of both, really, wasn't he? Yeah. He's been economical with it, but also exaggerating the bits that suited him. So, Nigel Farage's claim of the bank account closure prompts UK review, and the Treasury says it's checking for the right balance between customers' free expression rights and the bank's right to manage a commercial risk. It's a bit rich, isn't it, when they're pretty much, with all these new bills they're throwing out there at the moment, whether it be the protest bill, or whether it be the online safety bill, which is a bit of a con. Some elements in the online safety bill that makes a hell of a lot of sense, but there's some major bits in there that literally exposes, people's privacy. It removes their privacy. Yeah, especially if you want to use digital services such as WhatsApp or Signal. So it's a bit of a con in that. The government is they use emotive language to try and get their point. To get what they want. And if not, they'll throw a tantrum about something. So British banks have found themselves in the centre of a debate over free speech. All because of Nigel Farage. All because Nigel Farage just wants to be centre of attention all the time. He probably looked at this and thought, this is a good argument, against the establishment and against banking. Wasn't he a failed metals dealer? So the thing is, though, it's just been exposed that Nigel Farage, his bank account was shut down because he didn't meet the wealth limit. Now the thing is, it wasn't any old rubles. Give Nigel back his rubles. Nice one. Oh, Farage's name is absolute mud over here in Torbay, especially in Brixham, where their main thing is fishing. I can imagine. I'd like to hear some stories about that. She might make some videos. I used to do quite a film fishing at one time, but it seems to have gone a bit quiet. Is it because all the fishermen have decided to sell their boats? Because a lot of them have, haven't they? And they obviously got that Kirkella, that whopping great, I think it's part Dutch owned, that goes out there and pretty much scoops all the fish in one hit. In some ways, I'm quite glad the fishing industry's buggered. Because not necessarily the shellfish and stuff like that, mussels and what have you. Well, you should be eating that anyway, it's full of poop. But we're wrecking the ecology of it all. The seabed's buggered. Beam trawlers and what have you, literally just destroys the whole ecosystem down there and biodiversity. And it's we're wrecking it. We're just overfishing, killing probably as much as we can actually eat for no reason. It's just ridiculous. So in some ways, I'm quite glad the fishing industry is buggered. I know they wouldn't agree with that, but they need to change their methods. Line fishing, that's what you've got to do. You've got to do line fishing. That'll take a while to get what we need. Well, it's understood that he subsequently was offered a standard bank account with NatWest. Hope that wind isn't too much. And NatWest actually owns Coots. Yes, his bank account was with Coots. Isn't it like the Queen's Bank or something silly, the Royal Bank? But you've got to have a certain amount of money, haven't you, to have that bank account? That kind of makes him look like a bit of a shit, doesn't it, as well? So it's Nigel Farage fell below the financial threshold required to hold a bank account at Coots, the prestigious private bank for wealthy. The BBC has been told. Yes, it's in the BBC. I do apologise. Now it is understood that he was subsequently offered a standard account with NatWest, which also owns Coots. So last week, Nigel Farage said he believed that his account had been shut down for political reasons. He knows why he was shut down. They would have told him that you didn't meet the criteria, and all he wanted to do is just spin it. There's no way they didn't tell him that his bank account fell below the limits. Just no way. That's bollocks. Absolute bollocks. So he did lie. So, And but then he also said that he'd been turned down by 7 other lenders when he went elsewhere. Well, obviously there's other lenders where he went elsewhere. They weren't like a standard Barclays account or, I don't know, a cooperative account or something like that. They're all going to be, people, for the kind of banks a rich bank with. Yeah. They turned him down because he ain't got enough dough. Or not enough dough he can expose himself to. Because obviously he's, I think we all pretty much say that some of the money that he's received is from illegitimate means. Fences and that. But then also, if you think about Aaron Banks, where did he get that money from? Where did the money come from for Aaron Banks that went into that company, which was used to fund UKIP? Where did the money? No one knows what that particular company did. All it did is take money in, and then money came out of that company, went to UKIP. Anonymous donors. That's dangerous. Sounds a little bit like how Richie Sunak does his banking affairs, as in his money's coming in and, it's just nuts. They're all flipping corrupt, aren't they? They really are. Anyway, what are you saying? I just saw this earlier, a couple of hours ago, and I thought, great, it's quite funny, really. Poor fishing industry stood at Farage's shoulder, waving Brexit flags. How did they not know what their biggest market was? I know, stupid, isn't it? I've had this argument before, actually. I think they got the Brexit they voted for, shaming they never asked what it was. Yeah, that's about right, isn't it? Crikey. It was so blindingly obvious that the fishing industry was going to be absolutely, scuppered. Absolutely scuppered. But I just wish it was a little bit more environmental, in the sense that we just think, how many times have we been told there's no cod left? How many times has that happened? We've got to think about we're always sort of running it right to the edge, overfishing. It's going on all the time. You've obviously got other fishermen coming in from the EU as well, from Spanish fishermen, Russia. They're coming into UK waters and fishing. And it's there's no real control, and there's some control within the EU and what have you. There was some control, but there wasn't enough. Definitely not enough. And the amount of fish, throwbacks and stuff like that, quite frankly, just still edible, but they're dead at that point. They've been crushed in the nets by all the other fish. So the thing about this bank account, Mark, you see, regarding the thresholds for old Nige, see, he's a pauper now, you see. Yeah, he's a pauper. He's done it for himself, Oh, look, Wally's still. What are you laying down there in the old stones, Wally? You come there if you want, mate. So, the threshold, okay. So the Coutts Bank requires its customers to either borrow or invest at least £1 million with the bank, or they must hold at least £3 million in savings. So obviously he falls below that threshold. He's been warned for some time now, and they've said, okay, then you cannot hold a bank account. All they're doing really is treating old Nige, Mr. Nigel Farage, just the same as everybody else who, may be entitled, who wants to use that bank. If their thresholds run, if their bank accounts run down too far, or they haven't got enough investment or borrowing in Coutts, well then, quite frankly, they get treated just the same. So, they've got policies, terms of service, and he didn't meet the criteria, and he doesn't like it. And he wants to, hoity-toity, excuse me, with all his old mates, didn't he? Probably Russian oligarchs, and the type. So, and then all Nige said, he said that losing his bank account was the equivalent of being a non-person. Yeah, an ordinary bank account wasn't good enough. The bank accounts that you and I probably have, they aren't good enough for him. No, according as far as he's concerned. And he said that the decision may fundamentally affect my future career and whether I can even go on living in this country. Go! Please, go, Nige. We all want you to leave, that we do. I've got 43 people there. Afternoon, I think how many people there? Oh, best of luck, Blase. Oh, we've got Blase here, haven't we? Yes, Blase. Hello, Lady Blase. Hope you're well, my friend. It'll be a flying visit as I'm waiting for my wife to come. Oh, my giddy, we've just been to the hospital today. My dear wife, she's just had her seen an anaesthetist because she's having a procedure next week. It's only an examination because she had an operation a while back, and she's having it on endoscopy to put the camera down to make sure everything's okay, basically. And also, also on Friday, she's got another procedure where she's having the pipe go the other direction into her urethra to see whether or not there's a problem there, because she keeps getting UTI infections, and it might because of that she keeps having to have lots of antibiotics, and that causes problems as well. So it's like, oh, she's really going through it recently. It's just one thing after another. So I hope she's all right, my friend. Hope you get sorted out. It's always a worry, isn't it? You know, when you get a bit older, there's always things start going wrong. I've got problems, you know, my thyroid and what have you, and is that always got thyroxine, which I heard the other day, it was like the second most sold drug in the US. Didn't realise, and it's I didn't fully appreciate the side effects of it, because I was really feeling really down and really ill, and lethargic. I'm always lethargic. I'm tired all the time. When I do my live shows, I try to put on a brave face and sort of like smiley and all that, and sort of try to be a bit bubbly, because that's kind of who I am, really, generally. But sometimes I really struggle, and it's this thyroxine, and my thyroid doesn't produce enough. So it's just one of the things. You got liver, isn't it? You know, getting older and all that. And my levels were way off, so I had various tests and got my levels. They seem to be okay now. My levels do. But the side effects of it, it takes a while. Well, if you ever do get over it, it's changed my voice. Over the last year, my voice has changed. It's just nuts. I used to be squeaky, or squeakier. Yeah, but yeah, it's nuts. It's just you don't realise it's thyroid. It's hormone basically, and if you don't have enough of it, it can bug all your body up in other areas as well. Because one hormone gets reutilised and made into another hormone, and into another hormone, and into another hormone. So if one isn't working properly, you've got this chain reaction of problems. So it's a bit nuts. Yes, I hope you get sorted out, my friend. Deporting Nigel wouldn't be fair to the host country. Definitely not. Oh, well, they fell out then. Oh, definitely not France, please. I know he's a Huguenot. Or stop rocking. Stop it. Calm down. Stop moving. That's getting better. Slowing down. Yeah, Huguenot and all that, he's basically a French refugee, isn't he? Oh, there you go. It's really hard. I'm moving backwards and forwards. I keep trying to touch the screen and it keeps rocking backwards and forwards. Right. Oh, dear. These people, though, like Nigel Farage, that kind, it's just... They always seem to... They're desperate to remain relevant all the time. Like Boris Johnson, they just have to be the centre of attention all the time. It's like they're worthless without it. Well, we say they're worthless with it, but yeah. Hello, Mithril. Good afternoon to you too. And I see, hi all. Think European all the time. Call 6 says, Lord of the Rings, anyone? Never get between a Farage and his money. Oh, me precious. Oh, he's our friend. No, none of us are getting younger. No, I know the feeling. Oh, God, it's one thing after another. Yeah, she was. Okay. She's she had started about 2 years, no more than that, about 3 years ago now, and she started having problems with her stomach, like laying down, had got GERD, and it's causing acid, and it's effectively damaging her esophagus. Because the esophagus wasn't closing properly. It's like a valve, and it wasn't closing properly, so the acid could go up easily. So she had to make sure she slept on one side of her body and stuff like that. Obviously, the acid was coming up and causing problems. And she's constantly feeling sick all the time. She had all sorts of problems. So she had a procedure about a year ago, and actually, she also had another procedure as well. She had her gallbladder out as well because she had sepsis, and we nearly lost her. But she another week of that, she'd been gone, and she had an organ failure. She had quite a massive dose of antibiotics in the hospital, And they managed to sort out the amount of headaches she was getting. I mean, really intense headaches, intense migraines. You could see her head throbbing. The vein in the head, like, boom, 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 boom. Oh, Christ, that was awful. Anyway, that's scary times. Luckily, the hospital sorted her out here in France, and they were very good, I must say. And she ended up having the gallbladder out because the infection damaged the gallbladder. And it's just a chain reaction of problems, really. And that with the then she has a problem with this esophagus, this valve thing. So what they actually did, it's a bit like having a tummy, like having a gastric band fitted, except what they do is they actually pull a bit of the stomach around, and they wrap it around the esophagus and stitch it into place, so to speak. And the idea, it tightens up the esophagus. Because before it was always open, there's always a hole there. Now that hole is it's closed off like that, instead of being like that. It's still open, but it's not so controllable with the muscles. So yeah, she still has food problems, but she's having a checkup anyway. In about 2 weeks' time, check up on that. And then end of this week, she's having the you're checking on the bladder and that as well, because she keep for someone who never got ill. These last couple of years has been a bit of a roller coaster, really, of problems. It's very worrying. It's quite scary, in fact. Takes it out of her as well. And for someone who's vegetarian, she's really healthy. She's, she exercises and stuff like that, and keeps her weight down. Unlike me. I think it's just it's frightening. It is frightening. Greasers are worse, says David Harris. Hello, David. Cloud Hound. For many years, I convinced Broadmoor was on Exmoor. After all, it was only fair that when Dartmoor had its own place. Okay. But rock includes rockers, and they can be dirty. What sort of conversation's going on here? I can't get lost here. Hello, Tom Finney. I hope you got my email all right. Nigel Farage cannot get around banking rules that easily by moving country. Anti-money laundering and sanctions are worldwide. That's it. There's mutual banking rules and also like tax treaties and stuff as well. So you can't get away with that either. Yeah, because I imagine he gets a bit of money for Trump, doesn't he? If Trump gets power, oh my God, can you imagine? He'd be in jail, wouldn't he? It will break the sound barrier as he crosses the Atlantic into his little hand arms. Oh, Nigel, permanent committal. Oh, Broadmoor Hospital. Ah, now I get it. Not deported. No. Rockers, I thought that word. Okay. Hello, number 3. Hope you're well. The Israeli thing is a bit scary, yes. Are you talking about the bill that's going through at the moment? That's what you're talking about, Kieran? Because that is a very, very worrying. It's Caroline Lucas knocked it on the head there. Not on the head. He pretty exposed at the details of this bill. So what they do with these bills? They use them as a cover. There's parts of these bills that seem to get pushed through under the disguise or the guise of the rest of the bill. And there's details in there that are dangerous. Just like this one with the online safety bill. They always use like emotive language regarding, child sex abuse, and pictures and stuff like that. And they know full well that it will provoke emotion. Yeah, emotive language that provokes emotion, and as such, it's quite easy to push those bills through just on that basis. They get public support because the public don't look at the detail. I've had this argument before with loads of people regarding, after chats on Discord and stuff like that. I think we look too much into the detail and we're trying to overcomplicate politics. We really are. Most people are simple. Most people just care about keeping a roof over their heads and feeding their kids. Most times. Very few people are politically savvy or politically involved. No, I wasn't. I am now to some degree, but especially people work with their hands and stuff like that. You read the titles. Don't actually got time to go into detail and learn about what the article is really about. What, you know, in case these bills and that as well, what they really include. No, you just look at the. Well, I suppose in the UK it's a case of 3-word slogans, isn't it? But it's just. I think we overcomplicate it, and this is where the Tories won. That, you know, they won people over with 3-word slogans. They knew it was going to work. They knew they can get support of the public on the basis of 3-word slogans. Stop the boots. Stop the boats, sorry. I got that out of my head. Hashtag stop the boots. God, those flipping boots are Richie Sunak's. A bit breezy today. Crikey. Yeah, so it's yeah, I do feel we overcomplicate, try to overanalyse stuff, and it's not what we need. We just need a better 3-word slogan than the Tories. It could be like, stop the Tories. Oh, dear me. It's just, it's painful to see, because it shows the level of intelligence of most people. Or not necessarily intelligence, sometimes it's just interest. Because, you know, I used to work on the tools and what have you, in building sites or maintenance or stuff like that. And the people working for us, because employed people, you know, some of them on 715s, what have you, and some were on the books. And most cases, they literally, well, they turn up with a tabloid paper, usually the Sun or the Daily Mail or something like that. And we're sitting there. Our trailer was like a mess hut. It wasn't really a hut, it was just a trailer. That was a 3.5 ton in-suspension trailer. And we'd sit in there and we'd yapping away and what have you. And it's just talking about general stuff that's going on around us. And no one looked at the detail. In most cases, they just looked at the headlines, the first paragraph maybe. And it's like a fit of rage. Oh, how dare they, how this and how that. Oh, all these people over there taking my jobs and my women. You know, that kind of attitude. It's just simplistic. And that's the problem, you see. Most people are relatively simplistic in their needs and what they want to get out of anything. And it's really easy to convince people like that to, well, vote against their interests. And that's pretty much what's happening. Or ignore what is really going on, or not actually become involved with what's going on, or actually even denying it. You know, oh, that's never going to happen. They won't do that. They won't do this. And they do it every time, these Tories. That's what happens when you give somebody so much power. And I kind of worry about that with the Labour Party as well. The Labour Party, okay, it's foregone conclusion they're going to be in power. I haven't got a problem with that. I don't necessarily want to have too much control. It's all about 144 seat majority at one point or something around that, wasn't it? And that's a little bit worrying. It becomes totalitarian. You know, you might like the views, but other people don't. You know, we need a balance. You know, and they've already said they'll have the power to revert these bills, but they don't want to. They'll just blame the Tories for these bills. They're not going to revert them. And that is a worry. That's a problem. You know, these bills are, well, invasive on your privacy. They're stealing your rights. Yeah, your right of freedom of expression, freedom of speech, your freedom to protest. You know, and that's fundamentally they're ripping away democracy from the people. And if the Labour Party isn't willing to reverse that, well, then quite frankly, the Labour Party is much better. Sorry, I'm just going by what David Lammy said. You know, he said we can't spend all our time reversing what the Tories done. There's a lot to do. Well, that means they've had a discussion, and it's they've said no, we'll keep it as it is. Because I don't think these latest bills that have been going through, they're in favour of the Labour Party as well, just not in favour of the people. This is totalitarianism, and it's just it's not just painful. It's painful to see, but also very, very concerning. Because what is the next step after that? And we've seen it, and also the UK. For all its ills, it does set precedents around the world, and it's other countries will follow suit. You know, we can no longer push like human rights and what have you. Well, quite frankly, we've been saying them. Yeah, this government especially has been saying we won't come out with the Human Rights Convention, the Convention on Human Rights. It's just nuts. The whole thing is just messed up, and it's one what makes it worse is the people don't seem to care. I don't think most people care. I really don't. I think, they just allow things to roll on, as they are at the moment, and allow consecutive governments to rip more of their rights away until eventually they just, they're the sheeple. Lemons. See, I feel most people actually have no direction in life. Most people don't. And those people, they need leadership. They need people to, they need to be controlled. They want it. They want to be told what to do. Like people who work in factories, they get on the line and what have you, or they'll be taken over by AI and robotics and what have you. But people, they just, I've known people working in factories and what have you. They're like little robots themselves. Drive me insane. I can't do that kind of work. My mind goes off in all sorts of directions. I just can't do it. I'm a very creative person, and I like making stuff. Drawing stuff, painting or whatever. I can't imagine me actually ever doing that. Well, I've tried. I just numb over. Maybe that's what's happened to them. So anyway, I'll go into the chat. So I'm rumbling on here. Amazon is awful. Well, number 3. Number 3. Where is the Mad Monk here? Mad Monk's been working at Amazon recently. I can't see him. PR and a written. That would be proportional representation, and I'm an advocate for that. And a written constitution. We need a written constitution. A written constitution, it would be much harder for consecutive governments to push away elements of the written constitution. But they can also work against you, like, the right to bear arms, for instance, in the US. That's always thrown back at, they can look at a bunch of nutters, isn't they? So what does that say? What's it? Okay, so Tom Finn, just showing your. Oh, it's always been handled. Okay. We've got moderator, have we? I've got number 3, haven't we? That's right. Hello, buddy. The Tories are climbing back in the polls thanks to the Tory media. Well, that was bound to happen, wasn't it? Richie Sunak has been using an approach recently. It's been very calm and collective, you know what I mean? So he's integrity. Even though every time it seems he just gets taken down really with people with a bit of common sense. He's lying to everybody. He's worse than Boris Johnson, I'll tell you. He is. He's worse than Boris Johnson. It's cropped as a 9-bob note. Bent as a 9-bob note. I tried working in a large office once. It was a private subcontractor job for a government department, and I was ready to go in with a flamethrower after a short while, I bet. I can imagine that must have been hell in there. Standing at a production line, my mind wanders to chess games, says Tom Finney. No, there's been times I've just done grass cutting and stuff like that when I've been filling in the work, because our whole business, what we used to do is we used to do a lot of grounds maintenance, but also building works for the councils. A lot of remedial works, a lot of stuff for building regulation and that as well, with contracts for that. So if, for instance, the guys who were short for somebody that was sick or whatever, I'd fill in. So I'd be cutting grass. I have to admit, just stand by the lawnmower, walk backwards and forwards. You just think of all sorts of stuff. You just drift off in all directions. If I was on the ride-on mower, because that machine over there, that ride-on there, the one we use here, Ferris, it's getting on a bit now. I bought that with our company. Well, it was one of our company machines. So so you just drift off. You're running up and down. Round doing the verges and stuff like that. You go, on another planet, really. I kind of liked it actually. It's kind of a bit of freedom, really. You just kind of, But you're moving about and you're seeing things. Whereas you're on the production line, it's just like, oh, can't man do that. No, not for me. There's still room for improvement, says Karen. Number 3, take away human rights from Tory lackeys, aka the Tories voters first. I don't know if you can actually do that, but that would be a good idea. Take away their right to vote. Flipping nutters. So anyway, the BBC understands that the offer of a NatWest account still stands, so you can still get a bank account. So he's talking bollocks, old Nigel Farage. But the PEP, the PEP, which is what the thing that Nigel Farage is saying is political persecution, it generally represents a higher risk for financial institutions as regulators consider them as to be more exposed to the risk of potential involvement in bribery and corruption by virtue of their position and influence they may hold. Now, people familiar with NatWest's thinking insisted that it is not the reason for the closure of the Coutts account. Now, Mr Farage told the BBC, "Are you telling me that all other banks say it was a PEP thing and the Coutts wasn't?" Draw your own conclusions, I suppose. Mr Farage also said that his business account was closed despite the fact that that year he had what he describes as large, significant positive cash balances going through his business account. You can't get a business account with Coutts unless you've actually got a private account. So if you haven't got the funds for a private account, keep that open. You can't have a business account with Coutts. They don't offer business banking services to customers who are not also private customers. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, it's all, and then was it yesterday? Since he said all this stuff, and the Tories kind of jumped on their bandwagon, Lee Anderson, all them lot, but also Lucy Fraser. She said it was something banks should be thinking about carefully. The Cultural Secretary, has said that she is concerned that banks may be closing customer accounts for political reasons following claims from Nigel Farage. Lucy Fraser said it is something banks should be thinking about carefully. Let's be fair, Lucy Fraser is like that Watley woman. She's vacant as well, quite frankly. Oh, these people. So the government is investigating payment providers over account closures. Well, after today's intervention, I imagine they will just backtrack on that one. So apparently PayPal closed the bank account of, PayPal account with Toby Young. Good. He's the General Secretary of the Free Speech Union. Tosspot. And, he was reinstated though. Oh, PayPal was to reveal Elon Musk, wasn't it, originally? Mrs Fraser told the LBC that the radio station, I'm concerned that people's accounts might be closed for the wrong reasons, and it's something... Have you ever heard of people have a bank account closed for... this is a really rare thing for people who have bank accounts closed. So Nigel Farage is basically claiming that he was a politically exposed person, which was a rule that was rolled over into UK law from the EU. So, politically exposed person, a PEP. Oh dear. And banks are required to do extra due diligence on politically exposed people because of bribery and fraud and stuff like that. We know it goes on, don't we? We've seen that. I've got a bear here somewhere. I have. Oh, little Wally lad, he's laying down there on the stones. Silly boy. Got a left. Oh, proper bear. So let's see what you're saying. I've got 47 people here. So I'm sitting in a hammock, talking to the phone, and I've got more people, or nearly as many people, than I have when I prep up my show. It's nuts. Quite a nice day, up in the wind. Northern refereed group. Oh, I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? Let's scroll up a bit. Nope. It's just an idea. Hello, it's just an idea. Coots is owned by NatWest. They are, yes. They're owned by NatWest, and NatWest offered old Nigel a bank account anyway. No, an ordinary bank account like anyone else could have. And then he would be able to have a business account as well. There's no reason why he can't have one. It's all about status. That's all it is. Make you want to look good. Tribes don't only compete, they are given the right circumstances, can also cooperate. Oh. More likely sufficient. That's another valid point. A suspicious activity on the account. But apparently he just didn't meet the criteria, of the bank, of the Coots Bank. He didn't have enough money in there. Yeah. What I don't understand is, or maybe I do understand, let's say for he's saying that he had considerable money going into his business account. That's what he said. Oh God, it's windy. All right, Wally. The chair just fell over. Oh, my boy, you'll come up here. Do I come up here, Wally? Yes. Come here, boy. Let's grab my little Wally. He's down here, you see. Looks really uncomfortable. Come on, boy. Let's get this thing out of the way. There's a silly chair in the way here. Don't want it there either. Oh, let's fold it up. Will it fold up, Wally? It doesn't want to fold up. Come on, boy. Where are you? Yeah, come on. Here we come. Oh, there he is. You got a bit of hair on me now, Wally. Huh? What are you doing laying down on the stones? It's all rough. You'll get hemorrhoids. Anyway, where was I? So, it is funny in some ways that someone feels they can twist it around to suit his own narrative and then get caught out. What, you're loving that, are you, boy? Look at his face. Look at the camera on you, look. There you are. Oh, look at you. Needs to stop moving, doesn't it? Huh? Yeah, there's a Wally. He's a good boy. Are you tired? Are you tired, boy? Oh, I know. Okay. He's a little snuggle monster, he is. There he is. Oh, yes. You're a good boy, aren't you? Better than all the rest, aren't you? Hey? Oh, okay. Anyway, where are we? Hammock gone any minute. What a collapse. No, it's quite a strong hammock. I hope it's alright. I hope it didn't rot. So the old canvas one, so I hope it didn't rot. It's lost all its colour. It's very LGBT. I hope the sound's okay because it's a bit windy. I have got my little fluffy thing on. Hello, Moonlight Mirage Productions to 2150 AD. Is it true that the government can get BBC to say whatever they want? Yeah, it appears that way. The thing with the BBC is, about the stop clock analogy where it's all, it's right at least twice a day. It's a bit like that. And the thing is, though, I do read some of the BBC articles, and a lot of them are just legit. But then there's others that generally seem a bit swayed. Yeah, it's like they're getting government pressure, basically. They're just not independent. We had Richard Sharp and the other geezer, didn't we? We had them all involved with it, and it's kind of like, yeah. Well, he's resigned now, isn't he? Thank God. Makes it a start, I suppose. Hello, Tom Can. Where there is smoke, there's usually fire. Money laundering and receiving money from dubious sources are often reasons banks decline to do business with you. So maybe that might be the reasoning why they decided that they weren't going to. I got a delivery. There's Caroline. Heard it or not? I'll tell you what. I'm just going to have to go and get my delivery. Oh, that means I've got to disturb by Wally. I'll get him back again in a minute. Oh, that's it. He's pressed the bell. Okay, the other dogs. We've got an extra one. We've got 4 today. 4 dogs today. That's Sebastian. That Barker Sebastian, the white one. And the little yappy one. Caroline's delivery! I can't move, I got Wally. Bonders glove. Yeah, only bed sheets, nothing interesting. Anyway, where were we? Pagan, I will publish the link for you. Oh, this is number 3. Well done, number 3 with your videos, mate. I see you've been doing it every day and that's loads. Yeah, oh, God, look. Hasn't she been... Oh, no, she hasn't been dropped, has she? There was a suggestion to have her replaced with somebody else. I can't remember who it was now. But yeah, she needs to go, doesn't she? Oh my God, we've got loads of stuff there. I thought it was just sheets. It's 2 big boxes. Blimey. Might be one of the kids. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. There we go, down we go. Oh, sounds all good. Cheers up, Hagen, thank you. I got these little, I'm really pleased with them actually. We bought these little, because something for our walks now in the mornings. So Caroline has a bit of a voice as well. We bought the set. These are little Holyland Lark M1s, and they're not expensive. Well, I got them on offer. It was €118 for the set. And I have to admit, I'm so impressed with them. I use all the while now. They're really good. Normally I use my little Rode microphone, but it's just, especially when you do the walking and stuff like that, and I'm quite happy with the sound. The sound seems okay. And they're so easy. They turn themselves on. You get like a bit like an AirPod. Look at you. Oh my giddy, he's shedding. You see that? Oh my giddy, you're shedding like crazy. I'm going to be covered in hair, aren't I? Yeah, a bit like the AirPods little container sort of thing, little box with a lid and what have you, and it's nicely made. And they all slot into there. There's also a charging box as well. Has its own battery on board, which you can charge separately. So you can get up to 22 hours of actual use in the setup. So it's quite clever. And it's got noise reductions as well if you want to use it. So I was quite pleased with them. They seem to work quite well. So thanks for letting me know for that, yeah. It all boils down to the fact that he doesn't have enough money for a Coots account. Basically, yeah, he just doesn't have enough money, and he lied about it. Yeah, or economic with the truth. Money laundering fears and Russian money have nothing to do with it. But it might have something to do with the fact that he says 7 accounts said no. Seven other banks said no to him. That might be the reason they might have done checks on him, as you normally would do. You don't know if he's got any charges against him, as in, what do they call it? He's got court judgments. He's got some CTJs, that'd be funny. But it's if you are a politically exposed person, you're supposed to have due diligence. And maybe before he actually opened his Coots, he'd been with him 10 years, so he opened his Coots account. Was he listed as being a politically exposed person? I know he was an MEP, but he wasn't necessarily that prolific. And did he register himself when he opened the account? Did he say he was a political person, or was he a banker? You know, trader in metals and stuff, wasn't he? So that kind of makes you wonder. So there's a possibility there was some truth in that he was considered a risk, or was it just the fact that he's trying to get bank accounts that really didn't fit the criteria? Yeah. Oh, we got the Vicar Header there. Afternoon to you too. Mivril says, "What, Farage talking bullshit? Oh, never." Oh, well, yeah, he was pretty much. Oh, you're a lovely boy, aren't you, Ollie? Keep me warm as well. You mean, oh, Nigel is actually a loser? Yes, he is. That is one hell of a channel name. It all boils down to the fact that he doesn't have enough money for a Coots account. Yep, exactly. And scrolling up. Rubies for Farage delivered with with cool shorts. No, yeah. Living in a strange world. We are living in a strange world. Question and answer. There we go. And that one that does. Oh crikey! Yo, with Fiona Bruce. That was so funny. Actually, there's been a couple of episodes like that. There's been one where I don't know if anyone saw it. I actually got a little video up at the moment. Actually, just I've got a couple of videos on the site. Question time where something about Boris Johnson, was he telling the truth? No one put their hand up, what have you, and it's just complete that silence. It was a tumbleweed moment. And then last Thursday it was a tumbleweed moment in regard to about the Rwanda. No one agreed with the Rwanda scheme, which is absolutely ridiculous, And also with this Rwanda thing, is what gets me is there's no one, or very few people, are actually being honest, not honest, but telling the truth regarding the Rwanda deal. Very few people are actually saying the reason why the court said it's not safe. They're not saying it's not a safe country. They're saying the bill wasn't safe. And that it gives, accepting that the Rwanda deal allows the Rwandan government to, if someone fails the visa process in Rwanda, remember it's for Rwanda, it's not a visa process to allow them to live or come back to the UK. It's a visa process in Rwanda, and if, for instance, they're not accepted, they get shipped back to whatever country they came from. Well, they fled the country in many cases, and, tyranny or whatever reasons, and, obviously potentially they could end up getting killed. War and persecution. Good boy. So it's a bit crazy, really. It's the world we live in. It's just all about deception. It's about either giving you too much information, so it draws things out of all proportion, or not giving you enough information so you know the truth. Yeah, Fiona Bruce, she's awful. Absolutely awful. She was a bit of a stunner in her time. She's just a Tory laggy, isn't she? Lackey, sorry, not laggy. Tory lackey. I'll see. There we go. Political. So you're a Tory Farage. What? I don't think he is. Easy to tell by your right wing by your nasty worded comments. Oh my God, look at what's going on here. Let's scroll up a bit so I'll see what's happening. What's been said? Play nice. Did he? No, he didn't. See, he could have just made that up. Actually, to be fair, couldn't he? There's no evidence. There's no one to say that he'd. If the banks do know that Nigel Farage just tried to open an account, well then that'd be different, But it'd be down to them whether or not they want to say anything. They probably wouldn't say anything anyway, would they? Privacy and all that. So it's probably just another lie. For a start, he knew exactly the reason why they closed his account. They warned him that they're going to close his account, and he just didn't like it, so he just caused a fuss. Stanley Johnson only beat his wife once. Oh my God, yeah, that's true. She did say that, didn't she? Yeah. Oh, crikey. As it condoning it, basically. Can't remember that. She got a lot of criticism for that, didn't she? And she's still there. I'd have thought, really, she's not the right person to be in that job. Stanley Johnson is a nasty piece of work. For start, he wants to get rid of the population. He wants a mass cull, so there's only 20 million people. That's pretty much what he said. Words to that effect. Okay, he didn't say an actual cull, but he said the ideal population for the United Kingdom would be about 20 million. You might have a point, actually, though, to be fair. There are too many people in the UK. But it's just... there's probably too many people, full stop, to be honest. If we'd be honest about it, in the world I'm talking about, especially not saying that, I'd say in the Western world, there's too many people like us who buy the crap, cause the problems, cause global warming and what have you. But if you're trying to tell me people, African tribes, what have you, or indigenous people, I'm sure they're not causing the problems that we are. It's just we do live quite an excessive life in many ways, and not many people actually. What's the word or the phrase? about the environment, all that, become one with your environment. And I don't mean to get all naked and roll around and stuff. No, you're comfy there, Wally. It sort of snuggles right in here, but it's quite impossible for some people as well because where they live as well, it's that Wally. There you go. What are you doing, fella? Oh yes, Daddy. Oh, there he goes. Oh. Not devil. We need to embrace the environment. That's what I think, because I think I feel that there's no going. Well, they say we're a bit sort of on the bit of the precipice at the moment, don't they? That's what they're saying regarding the environment. If we don't make a change now, nothing's going to change. Well, I think it's a foregone conclusion. Nothing's going to change. I think we were done for, to be honest. Not going to say my lifetime, but I worry about my grandchildren. That I do. What about you? Oh God, what a soppy old bugger he is, eh? What you got to say? You're spoiled, aren't you? That's what you are. Absolutely spoiled he is. He's quite happy though, isn't he? Yeah. Kieran O'Connor, yeah, I think actually knocked the nail on the head there, mate. Simplicity is the answer. We do live complicated lives. I've done it myself, I'm going to be able to be honest with you. I've bought the crap I don't need. Probably still buy the crap I don't need. Not to the degree I used to. And we in the sort of Western cultures and what have you, we kind of, everything is about consumption. Not just food, but even that really, if you took when I was on Ginger Island with Graham Hughes and what have you, you wouldn't see any waste by the indigenous people, by the people who lived there, and brought up there and what have you. They didn't waste food. Now I look at my kids and what have you, and my grandchildren, the plates get piled up with food and what have you. And if you think they're never going to eat all that, because the parents think, we've got to feed the kids. For what they're not going to eat all that food, and they don't. So you end up with masses of food that ends up in the bin, and when it comes down to that plate of food, probably fed them 3 times. It's just that's how. What did I just say? That just saw a comment that made a lot of sense. Where are we? The more you consume, the more complicated life gets. Now, Lefty Boater, you live on a boat. You're one of the people who's got least of the problems, Because I know for a fact, because I'm from a boating background, and living on a boat is potentially a simplistic way of life. It is. There's lots of things you can't have because you can't store half the stuff for a start. You don't have room to, especially on a narrow boat. And so you have to live simply. Everything has to be about size, compact. It's a lovely way of life, though, I must say. Winter's going to be tough at times. If I wasn't, married and what have you, and I would definitely consider it. I got my day skipper, my yacht masters, some VHF radio license I got. Although it's probably will need refreshing, but I would definitely consider it. I really would. I'd settle. I don't know if I can set up here. I like it here, but they're going saying that if I was here on my own, I couldn't manage this place. It's just too much to do. The house isn't finished. It still needs a lot of work. But it's just a hell of a lot of work. So although it's not, that's why the place is always a flip mess, because we can't keep up with it. We just can't keep up with it. And so it's either you're either repairing stuff, or you're just doing routine maintenance. Or you're just cutting the flipping grass. I don't say get sheep. We've been there. We've done that. Sheep seem to graze in the same place constant, and they leave half the stuff behind. And you need a mixture, actually. If it's sheep and goats, goats are good for their woody growth. They'll eat that. But the sheep will eat the grass. But you've got to keep moving them about the field. So you have to create penned off areas. So you create more work. So it's actually cheaper for us to cut the grass, with that machine that's over there. It's cheaper than actually getting the sheep, because we have to pay taxes on the sheep. Stupid, isn't it? Over 7, if you have over 7, we have about 16 here. We didn't have many, but they kept breeding. Which was fun, I must admit. That was lovely, you know. I literally just over there, I used to share the sheep, literally just there. So I used to share them myself. We've still got the shares, actually. And, we sold them recently, It is a learning curve, but you've got the taxes, you've got all the tags, all the stuff has to be paid for, you see, because the registration process and stuff, every single sheep. There's fines if you don't do it in time. You have to do the vaccinations, you've got to do worming, you've got to get mineral blocks. It's no good just relying on the grass. In the winter, there's no goodness in the grass, so you've got to buy hay in. So you've got to buy hay in, and then you've got to think about the mineral blocks or feed or other stuff. So it's actually really costly. It's not cheap keeping sheep. It is in numbers. The more you get, the cheaper it becomes. Sorry, that was an unintentional slip of the tongue. Yeah, the more. Yeah. Are you growing concrete, Tom Finney? Oh dear. What was it Tom Finney said? Oh God, up we go. There we go. Would you leave the bricks and mortar to live in the wood? Me? Yeah, most definitely. I'm a woodworker, you know. I make stuff out of wood. I could build a crux frame house or something like that. I could do that. No problems at all. I've done timber frame and done all sorts of stuff. I would most definitely do that, but it would involve leaving this place. And at the moment, it's not bricks more anyway. This house is like built in stages from mid 1800s, so it's all clay. It's all natural materials, clay and stone. The problem these days to build properties like this now is everything is moved with machines and big lorries and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's this huge mass to move. Most of the stuff here had been sourced locally. The clay would be... The reason why most of these houses here in France have a cellar is that's where they got the diggings from to build the walls. So under my office, you know, when we were live streaming, underneath there is a cellar underneath there. And that's where they dug all the clay out of the ground, not with a digger, but, you know, by hand, which was used to build the walls of stone. Because there's no cement in these walls, other than what we might have added at some point, but there's no cement, it's all just clay. So basically, but as they build up, they build the walls on wet clay. They literally dug out of the diggings, basically, sieve diggings. You know, and it isn't wrong, because obviously it works. The house is still standing. And it's just down to the sheer mass of it, the sheer weight. You know, an equivalent size house in modern building techniques would weigh about a quarter of what this thing does. The walls, like at the bottom, and I would say about 500 mil thick at the bottoms, just under 2 foot. You know, 4 inches. So it would be 20 inches. So it's a lot of mass. A mass that has to be moved. So, but would I would. Me and the missus have been talking about this quite seriously. In the last few months, we've been talking about this. And the idea is of buying another piece of land somewhere else, or using our piece of land over there, and building a property on there, an eco property, because some of that is cheaper to live in for a start, keep the costs down, but also environmental, because we pretty much live relatively off-grid here anyway. We've got the solar panels just over there, which provides about 70% of our electricity. We do have the electricity coming to the house from the EDF as well, so we've got backup, so quite handy really. Okay, you got your yearly fees and what have you, but that isn't a lot of money. Our water is provided by the well that we dug. So yeah, would I do all that? Of course I would. I'd start with that. I enjoy the process. I would have to finish this place first, though, before I could really sell it, you know what I mean? And it has, we have added a lot of value to the house. A lot of value's been added just in the landscaping with the planting we've been doing here and stuff. Not just the trees that we've been planting, but, you know, plants, pretty plants. Lavenders and hibiscus and stuff like that. So masses, you know, the veggie garden is established. So all adds value to the property because we're design. And we're very fortunate because We bought this place and we are in a valley. This is a valley. So our outlook is, as the sun sets, literally over there, we watch the sun go down. So we can sit out there, have a drink, what have you, or whatever, and watch the sun go down. We're very fortunate. We're very privileged in that way. We've got no money. We're broke. We really are broke. But in assets, we're not broke. But actually, just we live a bit hand to mouth. So it's very kind. We've got people obviously in here with memberships and stuff like that, which and Patreons and stuff, donations, whatever. And then I get the advertising, YouTube advertising, which isn't a lot of money. I tell you, that's really stingy. YouTube is, but it keeps head above water. We don't need a lot. You know what I mean? So it allows me to carry on making the channel, carry on with the channel, what have you. But just it's quite nice just talking about stuff sometimes, And I quite like the learning process. I always have done. I've always enjoyed the learning process, whether it be something that's practical or whether it be, to be honest, politics recently. It's been a huge learning process for me. It's not my forte. You might have noticed. I do enjoy it. Yeah, I do enjoy the politics and stuff like that. But it all seems to be very, how to put it, all shock. Everything seems to be shock. Now, I don't know if anyone here was watching Reagan Elite's live stream last night, and he's had a bit of an episode, a mental health episode recently, and I actually really admire the guy for actually sharing it with people, because that's the thing about mental health is if you don't talk about it, you don't talk to people, you're never going to get over it. Half the time is going to bottle stuff up, and I've done it all my life, bottling stuff up. And since I've been doing the channel, because I'm constantly talking all the flipping time, as I'm doing at the moment, it's kind of, it's done me a lot of good. In many ways, YouTube, the channel, has done me a lot of good. Because otherwise I'd be very insular. I really would. And that's when I say that you got number 3 on here, what have you. He started the channel, and he's quite open about the fact that he's that he struggles with certain things and what have you. I actually think that his channel's going to do him a lot of good. Number 3, I think it's going to do you a lot of good, mate. I really do. And even the 2 videos that you put up, because I have been watching them and obviously like them and stuff, and then it's I have to admit, I've noticed a change in you. From your first videos to the last, and you've only been doing it about a week, there's a marked difference. And the same with Reagan Elite, with his little channel. And this guy's got about 120 subscribers now. He's getting there, and it's do you know what really inspires me? When I say that, when I see people who put their head on the block, so to speak, and kind of put themselves out of their usual kind of safety net. They're kind of out of their remit, push their boundaries, their own personal boundaries. I really admire that. I really do. And I also admire people who set up businesses. You put their neck on the book. Honest people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the flipping scumbags you have in the Tory government who just rip people off. No, like Michelle Mone and people like that. No, not that kind of people. No. Because the only risk that she's made is very risk on the people themselves. But it's quite good. I do like to see people put themselves out there and actually take the risk. Whether it be a personal risk or a financial risk. I think it's admirable. As long as you're decent with it. Because obviously there's a lot of bad actors out there. So, Lefty Boater says, do you know what? Lefty Boater, mate. Just yesterday, I was saying to Caroline about her, why don't you do your own channel? Just a vlog, life in France or something like that. And she's considering it. I will have to push her a little bit into it, but she is considering it. Just doing like a daily vlog. But, I said your first videos would be crap, just like my first videos were crap. They're probably crap now and all, but it's just I think it'd be good for her, because I've noticed with Caroline, since she's been on the more the videos with me, and like I was saying about, you number 3, and also Reagan Elite and what have you, it's done her a lot of good as well. It has. She's really come out of her shell. It's good for her, And mental health and all that is such a difficult, it's a difficult topic anyway, and it's difficult for people to talk about. Maybe that's what Nigel Farage needs to do. Just talk to normal people and not to himself in the mirror. Or, I don't know, with those Telegram type things he does. Oh, crikey. What was he say? Up the rah and who's Janus? And what was the other one? Oh, my God. Just what a fool. Who falls for that crap? Oh. I have... was more thinking of earth, timber and stone construction. More faithful to the original design. However, these look good too. Oh, someone shared something. I was actually interested. At one point, I was looking at. Actually, this was before the price of containers went up. A container house. I was interested in that at one point, but you do have to do a lot of structural work because unless you just want like a 9 foot by 40 feet box to live in, and several of them sort of linked together like a modular sort of system. If you want that, that's fine. But I'd want to be able to cut walls out and stuff like that, and utilise the containers. I was quite interested in that. But now I'm thinking more of PEPS panels and timber construction, a framed house with infills of PEP panels, insulated PEP panels. Thomas. Yeah, it's quite a nice day actually. Yeah, it's quite a nice day. I never had to look for fights, says Pagan. They always found me. Pacifism was never an option for me. I used to be a bit of a rough and tumble. I used to get little scraps. Usually because of bullies. And I retaliate. Oh, they always came... do you know what? There's bullies, isn't it? You're basically talking about bullies. The people who they think are vulnerable, like for me, I was small and what have you. I still am small. And kept themselves to themselves. It was always the bullies, you'd be the ones who, you're an easy target. But they obviously didn't know me. Because I was a little scrapper. Lego! And a Tonka truck. What? What? Oh dear. There we go. Lots of midges in Scotland. Is there? Oh, blimey. Oh, there's no midges here at the moment. Probably because it's windy. You've got all swallows are just coming over. And I saw some various other birds. Oh, God, what that one's called. There's another one over there. Make that clicky sound like an anteater. We found it. We actually now, our wildlife has increased. So we've now got barn owl. I think it's a barn owl. There's a bigger owl anyway. We've got some little chouettes, which are little tiny little owls, about that big. But we've got some bigger owls here now as well. You can tell by the, you can hear them. So we are very, very lucky to live here, to be fair. It's cheap to live here as well. You have the option to not to subscribe to the water authorities, for instance, and other utilities if you can help it. Hello, free. AllShorts. Each video is getting easier. Excellent. It's a learning curve, that is, and I'm still not sure about the longer term. You just go with the flow, mate. You don't think about it on the long term. Just think about it on here and now, and just pop a video out and just don't get stressed about it. I'm actually enjoying the process. I'll tell you what I'm enjoying. I'm just with your little channel. I'm enjoying watching you evolve. Now, someone said that to me actually. I had a very kind email from an individual who. Well, that's when I was going through a rough time. And I put that video up saying I'm not sure whether or not or what the future of the channel's going to be. And I got an email from somebody give me a whole load of advice and what have you. And I don't know how I'm going to do it all, but he basically said people watch the channel because of you, not necessarily because of the news or the stuff that you're talking about, but because of you. They're quite interested in it. He said I'm quite an interesting person. See, I don't see that. I feel it's imposter syndrome. I feel for myself doing this channel. I don't, the fact there are people, like for instance, there's 45 people here at the moment. That there's people listening or watching what I, happen to be doing, and it feels odd. I'll be absolutely honest with you. It feels strange to me because it was never my remit. It really wasn't. It wasn't. I'm not a natural. I think that's the thing. I'm not a natural. The medium is the message. That's a good way of looking at it. A fair-sized basking shark was seen in Torbay the other day. I saw about it. I read about that. And what about all these orcas trying to, down the boats, as in little yachts? Apparently they've got a skin disease. Yeah, they're scratching their backs apparently. But obviously they're toppling little boats with it at the same time. Do I grow lots of veg? Says Karen to Kev. You could say that. I've got my veggie gardens over there. You can't see because the solar panels and stuff. But you probably see one of the polytunnels. We grow loads of veg here. Probably about 100 and... I've got hair up my nose. Got woolly hair. It's the best kind. Isn't it, Wally? Yeah. Because he's all sleepy today. And probably about 120, 130-ish tomato plants. Yeah. And we do the canning. So we do it all that, do what the French do is what I say. If in France, do what the French do. And we can the tomatoes. So literally what we do is, tomato canning is so simple. It's really easy. So you sterilise your jars. What we do is we take the skins off the tomatoes, a bit of boiling water, peel the skins off, put them in jars, and then put the lid on the jar with the seal and what have you. Stick them into our, we have a boiler. It's like a round thing we put the cans in. In this case, these are like Kilner jars, so the parfait jars. We put them in there for about 90 minutes, and it sterilises, but also cooks the tomatoes in the jar. And as the jar cools down, the fluid in the jar cools down, it sucks the lid down on the seal, and that'll last easy 3 years. So, you got your plum tomatoes and you got your tin tomatoes, you make all sorts with that. And when we get to a stage when the tomatoes are not quite so good, or we're getting too many little ones, what we do is we'll tend to make passatas, or because then what we do with the passata, we basically boil the tomatoes up. We've got a little special device where it strains all the skins and the pips out, and we end up with the passata, which is basically like tomato sauce, really. And then we'll make ratatouilles, bolognese sauces, all sorts of stuff with that. And but our pantry's full of jars, literally full of jars. And they keep. Tomatoes are good because they're high acid food, you see, so they keep really well. Pumpkin and stuff like that, really we have to use, we've got a pressure canner that we use for that, but they will only last a year. Pumpkin goes off really easily, so if you want to make, any pumpkin sauces or pumpkin food type stuff, fillings and stuff, pies or whatever, you have to use the pressure canner. But there's all sorts of stuff. We obviously do a lot of haricot beans and various other beans. We don't bother with peas. We grow peas, but only for fresh. So just early in the season we grow peas, because the amount of work it takes to actually process the flipping things, get the peas out the pods and what have you, it just takes too blooming long. It really takes too long. So it's just, so what you do, you pay €1 and get a kilo of peas and frozen peas, because they taste good anyway, don't they? Because they're frozen, straight away. As soon as they're harvested, they're frozen. So it makes sense. Yes, we do grow lots of veg. Long story short. Well, it was a long story, but then I was kind of unsure about the end. Stop the yachts! Send out the orcas! That's what they need. They need a school of orcas down the channel. Don't tell the Tories, don't tell Suella Braverman. That'd be the kind of thing that, hello! What dear wife, she's waving to me. So, Lefty Bow... shouting into the microphone, sorry. I've got my little Wally, he's all sleepy on me. He is, look. He's all sleepy. Caroline, Lefty Boater.
He's gone to sleep?
Yeah, he's gone to sleep. He's quite happy there. Oh, lovely boy. Lefty Boat says, when are you going to start your own channel? We were talking about it yesterday, weren't we?
Let me get my scan out of the way.
Get your scan out of the way. She's looking for excuses now. It's nerves, isn't it? It's quite hard just to press record sometimes. Isn't it, eh? There she is. Hello.
Hello. See what Emily's up to. Your sheets and pillowcases are here. The pillowcases.
Why are they my sheets and you're the one nagging at me that said we need new sheets and pillowcases, so we ordered some.
They arrived.
They arrived.
Yeah, right, Molly.
He is. Look at him. Oh boy. Huh? He's quite comfortable, isn't he?
Likes a hammock.
Yeah, do it. I've hardly touched that bear.
Why?
I don't know. It just comes to keep talking.
Oh, you're on a bit of a chat box.
I can't help it. Comes with territory. Oh, what do you think you're missing out on, Molly? So, I was back to the chat. Oh, it's quite funny about Nigel Farage doing that, eh? I thought that was quite... It's made himself look like a right idiot, isn't he? Oh, a late lunch beckons, says number 3. You have a late lunch, mate. You got to eat. You can't not eat. Many thanks for the bottling tips. I've got 6 runner bean vines this year. Got to go and wash the dishes. Bye, folks. Take care, buddy. Cash buyer. I'm aware of the misspelling. Oh, okay. The word on the street is Nigel's looking for premises. Shut up. No, he's not. I hope not. I'll tell you something, he wouldn't last long. The critics were getting this. How would I make him disappear? Oh, I could bury him on the land, plant a tree on top of him, that'll do. Yep, time to see if sacrifice to the king will win the game of chess. Laters, take care, Tom Finney. I hope that's not the case. Brains get bored and need to be fed. A constant diet of new stuff, drama, news, anything that might be a treat or opportunity. Information that is delivered in person is more effective. Yeah, I suppose you're right, really. It's I do crave to learn, if it makes any sense. I do crave it, and it's sometimes it's shocking, sometimes it's inspiring, sometimes it's just knowledge, you know. And sometimes you learn for your hands, don't you? You know, motor skills and stuff like that, creativity, you know, making things, which I've done all my life, you know. That's pretty much how, you know, most of my learning has been through my hands. Regarding languages, though, I really struggle. With languages. I've tried and tried. It's really that I get embarrassed. That's part of the problem. I get embarrassed, and I don't want to make a mess of this, and I get all high strung about it. And then you've obviously got the thing about rolling R's. Oh my god, terrible! I feel like I spit on everybody. I'm really nervous about it. Curiosity is the greatest yet most undervalued trait of humanity. But curiosity also killed the cat. No, curiosity is brilliant. I've kind of grown up with that because I always wanted to pull things apart and see how they worked. So curious, you know, how things worked. And that, you know, hopefully get it all back together again with a bit of luck. That reminds me, actually, this phone here, it's got a broken screen. I've got a new screen for it. But it needs not just the protector cover, I mean the actual screen itself has got a big old crack in it. So I've got to take it apart, but you have to go in from the back, you heat it up, separate it, undo those screws and bits and pieces, stuff, you know, no worries there. And then you have to heat the front up, remove the actual screen, and then prise it around with some, a bit like guitar picks, and prise it all apart, without breaking anything, remember, and then fit the new screen on the new adhesive. And it's, but it'll be a learning curve, you know. I've done things like that loads of times before, but this obviously is a different phone. So it's just one of the things you got to learn, isn't you? You know, you haven't got to learn, but yeah, I like the process. I like to know how things work, and it's curiosity, like you say, it's curiosity. And it's a nice thing to do, I think. My dog barks. Most go out. Yeah, mine tend to bark sometimes. If a vehicle or a person comes past the gate, they'll go absolutely loopy. But luckily, it doesn't happen very often. Oh God! Molly's just jumped out and kind of goodied me. Blimey. Oh, get an Amelie. David Harris says, if Farage gets anywhere near, he risks slipping into the Foss septic. Yes, that'd be a lovely idea. I'd love to put him into the Foss septic. Yeah, what do you reckon, Dan? Putting Nigel Farage into a Foss septic. Yeah, that'd be got rid of all the poop. Oh, what's he done? Oh, crikey. The dog's been in the bin. Not Wally, that'd been Pandora. What, Wally? He never does things like that. Wally's a good boy. So apparently, England's water firms, this was just an hour ago. Oh, I've got the internet connection. Why have I got the internet? It should be internet. Oh, it's back again. Reload. That's because it went into sleepy mode. So England's water firms should pay to fix illegal discharges. Well, I don't know if you heard, but I think the Thames Water just got fined. On top of the fact that they are in debt for around 16 billion. Not forget they've already had a shitload of money. Which are system, taking out loans and then using them basically loans to do infrastructure, yet the dividends get paid to the it's effective. You're getting loans out ready for dividends really in many ways instead of paying for infrastructure. So England's water firms, so Thames Water, they got fined for discharges, two major discharges, about 3 or 4 million. So on top of that, what they just the debt they're in already, they're done for, aren't they? They'll get bailed out, I imagine. So England's water firms should pay to fix illegal discharges at a high court to Hare. So Wildfish Charity says that £56 billion plan to reduce sewage dumping from storm overflows is illegal because it expects customers to foot the bill. Oh, crikey, what's his name? Fergal Sharkey was actually saying that the other day as well, actually. He was, it's obvious, isn't it? The fact that they've had the money out, they've extracted the monies from the payer, the bill payer. They extracted the monies from them over the years to pay the dividends and massive bonuses for CEOs and what have you, company profits and that as well. Well, that'll be the form of dividends to the shareholders, and then they expect the taxpayer, in this case, say the taxpayer or the customers in this case, the customers to foot the bill. So your bills go up basically over the next 3 years, probably for decades, in fact. It's a piss take, isn't it? That really is a piss take. So water companies must pay to fix illegal sewage discharges rather than pass the cost to customers. The lawyers for the charity, starting to rain, for the charity Wildfish are to argue in the High Court. So it's gone to High Court. So it's quite a thing, isn't it? So the campaign group will allege at the judicial review that the government's £56 billion plan to reduce raw sewage dumping from storm overflows is illegal. The lawyers will argue on Tuesday that the dumping raw sewage has been in breach of the law for around 30-odd years, unless the discharges take place in exceptional circumstances such as very heavy rainfall. See, the thing is, right, they keep going on about that Edward and Victoria, whatever it might be, regarding the sewage systems in the United Kingdom, right? They're going about the pipe work and, well, if all the poop is getting to the storm overflows, which generally always are local to the actual sewage works themselves, well, why can't they get into the sewage works then? They're pissed up your back, they really are. It's got nothing to do with the ancient sewage systems. There's problems there, obviously, around London and various other places. Because they are ancient, there's no getting away from that. But they're huge. They're huge. They were overbuilt at the time. But so what my point being is, if you can get the sewage to the storm overflows, you can get the sewage to the actual sewage plants themselves, because they're there already. It's just cheaper. That's what it is. No chemicals, no processing, no nothing. Their capacity in the sewage plant might not be able to cope, but that's their responsibility, isn't it? They haven't invested in them. You know, they're pretty much the same size as they were when they were built. We either need more of them, or we need to get bit, or they need to be bigger. And all the sewage, they call them a storm overflow. And generally, how it's supposed to work is that there's a wall. In many cases, it's literally just a wall in the pipe, halfway up the pipe, say, for argument's sake. And the idea being is if there's too much water coming in, it flows over the wall and goes out to sea. It's not literally being pumped, it's just flowing. And that's why the pipes generally are quite long and they end up halfway out, about a kilometre out into the sea. But you see, they can force that by literally shutting off the actual pipe, effectively shutting it down, shutting the gate off to the into the sewage works. And effectively, it backs up, then it goes over that wall out to sea. And some systems are slightly different, but generally speaking, it's as simple as that. But storm overflows are for the purpose of protecting the sewage works during excessive rain and what have you. So basically, they'll flood. Obviously, that can be quite nasty. You can imagine it, can you? Oh my God. So there's your... Hello, Dora. I've got a Pandora now. There's a Pandora. What, you sniffing the post? Okay. I've got Sebastian over here as well. Hello, bear. So, they're just spinning the line. They're just lying. Just all we get told all the time is a bunch of lies, and it's painful. And I absolutely hate it. Look. So for flowing. So anyway, where was I? The lawyers are going to be arguing on Tuesday, which is today. The dumping raw sewage, or was it next week? Hang on, let's have that. I don't say. So lawyers will argue that dumping raw sewage has been in breach of the law for 30 odd years, unless the discharges take place in exceptional circumstances, like massive storms and stuff, heavy rainfall. Well, they'll point to the regulator Ofwat. And it has made clear that the water companies must pay to make their infrastructure compliant with the regulations rather than passing the costs on to the customers. Yeah, so they'll take a load more debt on. This Thames Water has also pretty much gotten themselves in this state at the moment because of the amount of debt, haven't they? They've taken on. In fact, recently they made a promise that they're going to be, increasing the infrastructure, but on the basis of more debt. And debt has to be paid for, and debt is paid for by the customer. So it's just nuts. The whole thing is absolutely nuts. And do people care? Oh, I make me wonder. It really does. I think people become so desensitised after this stuff at the moment. There's just so much of it. Whether it be stop the boats, or whether it be Richie Sunak's short trousers. These bills I keep going through, I try to expose these bills, but quite frankly, I think anyone's interested in my video. When I'm doing videos on that, don't do anything. There's one earlier today I uploaded. Now, I don't know if you know this woman. This woman here, her name is... Yeah, hello.
There's a hole in the trampoline.
Is it?
In the thing around it.
Oh, okay. Don't fall through the hole, will you, Emily? She's shy. She's like her daddy. So, she was being interviewed by Kathy Newman of Channel 4 News. I put a little clip of it in my video earlier today. I've got terrible views on it, but it's like whenever I put those sort of videos up, that are really important in the sense that not necessarily the video is important, but the actual content, what's happening is important. No one's interested. No, I get very little interest in it, and it's dangerous. People got their head in the sand. They really have. They're just like, I don't really care about that. It's not just about, in this case, about Signal or WhatsApp, as in encryption services. It's about how this new bill, this online safety bill, affects all businesses. Not just businesses, people. Privacy. Your privacy. Yeah, I think it's horrendous. If you look at some of the details of it, and it's woolly. It's like a lot of these bills, they're woolly. It's just like, almost like, it's like, it sets the precedents, sets the groundworks to be able to write new little bits of code. It's like writing code, I suppose, right? New little laws on it, because you've allowed this to happen, we can now do this. And it's so woolly. And that was one of the problems that Meredith Whittaker from Signal, which is a messaging service, encrypted messaging service, was saying, and she was bang on the money. She really was, there she is.
Signal is the world's most widely used, truly private communication service. We're not big tech, we're a nonprofit. We don't make money through surveillance, and we offer our services for free because we think everyone deserves the human right to safety, privacy, and freedom of speech. So I'm here today not as a politician, but as someone who's deeply concerned about one singular provision in the online safety bill that threatens to undermine encryption and the fundamental security of the core infrastructure of the UK, but the world around beyond that.
Damian Collins, what the government is proposing is mass surveillance. It would hand power to repressive regimes the world over.
Well, no, I don't accept that. I mean, this bit of the online safety bill we're talking
That's
about
Damian Collins, MP.
is an important but quite small piece of the bill, dealing with messaging services, and it only relates to child sexual exploitation content. So the worst content, where it is not a matter of context, it is without dispute that this content is vile and it is illegal. And what we want companies to do is to use their best endeavours to proactively detect content related to child sexual exploitation, so that it can be flagged and investigated.
What do you make of what you just heard?
What I can say is that there is no way to create a backdoor that only the good guys can walk through. And what's being proposed here in the context of end-to-end encryption is a backdoor. And we know from decades of history, from decades of serious research, that there's no such thing as a safe backdoor. If the British police can get in, hackers can get in. If the British police can get in, hostile nations can get in. If the British police can get in, Putin can get in, the Iranian government can get in, and others wanting to do harm can get in. So it's really important that we maintain the security and integrity of these systems.
I don't think you can say fair on that, really. You know, it's a minority. The problem, as well, is the emotive language they tend to use in regards to child sex offences and stuff like that, and the sharing of images, Maya. It's a tiny, minuscule proportion of those who use the services who are causing those sort of problems. This is like Big Brother watching, you know. The government wants control of everything. The government wants control of all media, including your own privacy. There is no privacy. And like somebody, crikey, the wind's getting up. I might have to go in a minute. I feel a storm's coming. Something that Vicar was saying. There we go. Vic was saying that within 15 minutes of the online safety bill coming into force, every child will be using a VPN. So the bill is about government merely trying to control the internet because they are scared of it. Yeah. The thing about VPNs, though, they've got to be paid for. You know, not everyone can afford. All kids can afford VPNs. If it's NordVPN or something like that, or the one with the beaver, whatever that was called. Yeah, number 3. This is dangerous stuff. This really is dangerous stuff, and it gets slipped through. Now, the part of the bill that she's was really concerned about was really open-ended. It's about the government is saying we do not want to. He would not. No, actually, it doesn't actually say this in the bill. He was saying, Damon Collins was saying, the MP. He was saying we have no interest in. We don't want them to have to decrypt or break the encryption service. But providing a backdoor is breaking the encryption service. But it doesn't actually say anything about the bill how they were supposed to achieve this. And it was open-ended. It's worrying. It really is worrying, and this is extremely dangerous. Now, I've made videos on this topic before, and yet again, it's the kind of thing that don't seem to get any footing, whether it's me or whether it's the actual topic. But there's so many details in these bills that keep getting passed through because the government's got such a majority, and they're harmful. They're harmful for, well, your freedoms, you know, and democracy. So they go on about democracy. The government don't want you to have democracy. They want to control you, whether it be this government or whether it be the next one. And that's one of the reasons why Keir Starmer's government, with David Lammy said on his show on that, on LBC, happens to be him being shadow something or other, and he made it quite clear that the government had, Labour government has no intention of reversing any of these bills, even though they have said so in the past, and now they're backtracked on that one, because they know full well that they're going to have so much control over Parliament because of the amount of seats, the size of the majority that they're likely to have, and it's in their interests. So they can blame it on the Tories, like I said earlier, they can blame it on the Tories, but the Labour Party will benefit from them because it's about control. It's really worrying. I think it's really, really worrying. So big tech is being taken to task by lawmakers across the world. Yes, they need to be. So parts of the bill are quite good, but this bit that takes away your privacy as an individual, I don't think it's not right. It's not right, and it's not about child safety. It's about control. It really is about control. It's about knowing what you're saying to people and knowing about the pictures that you're sharing, what have you, and if you want to send a cock picture to your missus, well, you should be able to. You shouldn't have what was his name, tractor porn guy, watching your messages. Maybe that's a bit of an extreme example, but there you go. There you have it. You're going to get that. It'll be funny. It seems like most of the paedophiles and the sex offenders are all in the Tory party anyway. Shooting themselves in the foot. What's happened there? This revolution doesn't require permission. Revolution doesn't require permission. It requires energy, and it requires people with the will to do it. People don't have the will these days to do anything, really. Oh my God, what's happened, Suzanne? Sorry, let's get your first message. Suzanne's saying, I'm essentially financially divorced from my family now, despite renouncing to protect the little we have from the US overreach. Oh my God. And I have zero ability to do any international transfers and that. Oh my giddy aunt. Oh yeah, you told me this before, weren't you? That's really gonna... Do you feel a bit like Nigel Farage? Sorry. I'm sure you haven't got a Coots account, have you? No. You must. God, this must be really stressful. It's made me feel like, what's the point? Too old and disabled to get a job, and only bring harm to my... Oh my giddy aunt. I hope it gets sorted out, though. That must be so worrying for you. Number 3 is saying the modus operandi of evil is to appear to be good or trusted, that perception, and introduce bad bombshells like Blair and Thatcher, for example, also Murdoch. I have got problems with Blair, but I also have to admit he did some good as well. Thatcher, on the other hand, Thatcher, the milk snatcher, I think that'd be debatable. I suppose there's some things she did, you could argue, were good, or maybe. I'm trying to think of some, but... The Industrial Revolution, revolutions in science, farming, revolutions in Revolution is good. It takes us forwards. Unregulated power holds us back. Viva the revolution, says Colin 6 here. I suspect I'm on a government... What? I suspect I'm on a government watch list. Anyway, I'm always calling for a revolution. Oh, we need a republic. Yeah, I'm sorry, Susan. I heard that the right to revolution is in the French Constitution. Sounds true to me. Oh, let's hope. Well, it's certainly been doing that recently. There's been a lot of problems here, as you know, regarding the riots that have been going on. But they're not sincere now, though. They really aren't sincere. Even the mother's spoke out. You know, the mother of the young lad who got murdered by the police, the gendarmes. Even she said, "Please stop the riots now." You know, she's just it's not, you know, it's not in the name of her son that she lost. It's got silly. I mentioned last night. I mentioned actually. It seems to have turned into like riot tourism. You know, is people come from all over the place, and now we've got riots. You know, in Belgium a few days ago, weren't they? You know, they're not. The people, most of the people rioting are not doing it for the right reasons. No, not for the cause. They're doing it because they're thugs and they just want to scrap. Pretty much. Did you see the resurfaced clip of Donald Trump saying, if you're indicted, you should not be... Oh, no, I hadn't seen that one. If you're indicted, you should not be president. Well, he's been indicted. Hopefully he won't be president again. Although it might be a popcorn moment, you could say. Questionable Absurdity says, people who care about security because they are doing things that are bad will just create other ways to hide, yes, their messages. They will. They'll send thumb drives in envelopes. And will just create other ways to hide their messages. Anyone can make an encryption algorithm with maths. Oh yeah, you could probably use ChatGPT. Probably do it for you. It's Pandora. Come back. Oh, sorry about that. I just... I know what I done. Press the wrong button. Andy... Have I missed anything? Probably. Oh, sorry about that, Susan. Crikey, you must be so stressed. Well, Colin 68 says, the good thing about pervs on the internet is that they can be discovered if someone wants to find what that is. Oh, Opera has a free VPN. Oh, I see. There's also Tor. I don't know. Is that? Oh, so Opera, the search engine you're talking about. Things I just use Chrome all the time because the whole thing is for me. It's just it's an ecosystem, and it just makes life so much easier. If you ever want to talk, Suzanne, I'm happy to have a chat with you anytime. When you want a private chat. I'm not saying I'm the right person to chat with, to be honest, but you know, the offer's there. Be like living in a silo soon. Oh crikey, I know. If we keep going the way we are, I feel entrapment, isn't it? We're on the hit list. That's another phrase. What people took to speaking out. You're on the Wally list. That's what you are. You're on the Wally crew. Sue saying our eldest is age 6 and had his child's savings accounts closed. Oh crikey, yes. Oh, 6. It even goes deeper than just yourself. I didn't read that, but sorry. Reason he was born in the USA. So yes, innocents losing bank services for no reason other than they are a liability to the bank. Crikey. Farage is not, but it's different. I mean, it's a different situation. He's basically just lying. And it's all about snobbery as well, isn't it? Yeah, I think you're right. Protecting children is just a cover story. It's always cover stories. There's, like I don't know, the evil smuggling gangs. Full well, there's an easy way of getting rid of them, and that's providing a safe route. And they'd be gone overnight. They'd disappear. There'd be no reason for them. A great film to watch is CHE. Subtitles, but really good. Shi Guan, a revolutionary life. Okay, I'll look it up. Hello, I hope you're well. Nigel Farage must not be happy with Ron DeSantis, Ron DeSatan. Last advert trying to take Trump out with all his racist moves. Yeah. Nigel Farage is leaving to see Trump. Stay there forever, please. God's sake. Oh. Trump down, Boris down, Putin next maybe, nearly was last week. Yeah, well, Proskoshkin, whatever his name was. Yeah, even though he'd probably worse than Putin, he would have been if it was a coup. Although he's saying it wasn't a coup, it was just a protest. Well, makes you wonder, doesn't it? It really does. Did you see no, I didn't see the resurfaced clip of Donald Trump, but I will do now you say that. People who care about security, done that already. Now, the wind is getting up. Yeah. And I've got other things I've got to do as well. I've been on the 2 hours again. Crikey. Just lying there for 2 hours, just jabbering away. Well, long story short, Nigel Farage was lying. Oh, look. Tell me something I didn't know. Oh, God. I think we'll be posting how to make a guillotine. I could make you a guillotine. No worries at all. Do you want a hydraulic one or do you want gravity? Gravity is obviously more, how to put it, less problematic. Although hydraulics can be quite non-problematic as well. But you could, yeah. Gravity, it's just, the thing about gravity is, it's just more impact in the sense, well, in more ways. It's just more, you got the build-up, haven't you? You got the hair, you could hear the blade running up the guides. As someone's pulling on it, get to the top there. Hovering up the top there. One little ratchet. Yeah. Get the whole build up, don't you? The whole build up to the whole scene and what have you. It's just it'd be quite impressive really, couldn't it? I've got a nice iron plate over there. I could don't really need to even heat treat it. Got the ideal blade over there. It's an actual, it's a fire an old fire backsplash. It's even got a nice design on it. Yeah. I could sharpen the edge of that up. Yeah. Case harden it or something, and still got the blade. That's not a problem. A couple of oak posts can be make a nice pair of runners, a couple of tracks. And you just need a bit of rope, bit of chain, make a ratchet, pull ratchet. Won't take long with it. No. Who should test it on? Oh, okay. Every Conservative accusation is a confession. Pretty much. Something turns in that way. Right, anyway, I'm going to make a move because I've got things to do, and thanks for joining us, what have you. It is very much appreciated. It really is. And, yeah. There you go. And, right, okay. Well, I might see people in Max's live stream tonight. We'll see. I'm very busy at the minute. I've got loads to do. So anyway, it's time for me to go. It's all exciting time though. So thanks a lot for joining us and have a lovely evening. Might go live tomorrow, I don't know. Ta-ta. Do you want to stop streaming? I don't really, but I've got to do some work. Ta-ta.